last month the Pope came out and talked about that adultery wasn't as bad as pride or even hatred. I didn't even know what he's talking about, and I just looked at it and went, yeah, nah, that's a myth that we need to bust. Now, I have done some investigating, but before we do, I would like to just say what the Pope said. Now, this is in defence of one of his archbishops, what's his name, Orbitit, basically had been caught out probably about 10 years ago, but now it's only just been found out that he had some small caresses and massages that he gave his secretary. So this stands the accusation, as the Pope had said. Now, he said, in defence of this, he said, this is sin, but it's not the most serious sins, because the sins of the flesh are not the most serious. The gravest sins are those that are more angelic, pride and hatred. These are graver. So now I'm not going to go through any really, I don't want to go into detail about why he said it or the politics behind it or all the things that are going to just muddy up the waters. But what I want to do is just centre on this one thing. Are sins of the flesh good or worse? Good? Is that really a word? Are sins of the flesh, are they worse than pride or are they better than pride? See, that still doesn't sound good. Better than. Okay, I've got some issues with what he said, but having said that he is the Pope, he probably knows what he's talking about. However, I've done some research because, hey, I'm a mythbuster. What can I say? Let's have a look. So, Romans 1, 29 to 32. They have become filled with every kind of wickedness, evil, greed, and depravity. They are full of envy, murder, strife, deceit, and malice. They are gossips, slanderers, God-haters, insolent, arrogant, and boastful. They invent ways of doing evil. They disobey their parents. Oh, that one's harsh. They are senseless, faithless, heartless, ruthless. Although they know God's righteous decree that those who should do things deserve death, but they only continue to do these very things, but also approve of those things. Approve of those who practice them. So in this verse, it's basically putting all of them into one. It's like one sin to rule them all. Now, there are other ones that say, and there's a couple of other verses like this, that the sins of the flesh, and it talks exactly the same list. So I don't get where the Pope's going with this, but I still have a problem, because Jesus, when he was before Pilate, he actually said a couple of things that almost make what the Pope said is true, but it still doesn't answer everything. So let me set this up for a sec. The Pope, Jesus is before Pilate. You know the story. We get it every Easter. But he's before Pilate, and Pilate is saying, what did he say? Jesus is not talking to Pilate. Pilate's asking him lots of questions. Do you refuse to speak to me, Jesus? Pilate said. Don't you realize I have power either to free you or to crucify you? And it's these words that Jesus says back that confuses me a little, but at the same time, I'm starting to understand. Jesus answered, you would have no power over me if it weren't given to you from above. Therefore, the one who handed me over to you is guilty of a greater sin. So this is where I've got to try and work all this out. And it suddenly dawned on me that all of these sins of the flesh are the same. Whether we're stealing a pen from work or whether we murder someone. No, I haven't. I've stolen a pen though. However, when it comes to this, they're all sins of the flesh. I'm sorry, pride and adultery are sins of the flesh. They're all the same. However, Jesus does make a distinction that separates it, does make one thing that's greater than all of those things, and that's knowledge. Pilate, he's a governor of the Roman Empire. He doesn't know much Jewish law. He doesn't have much standing when it comes to knowing what's God's way or rules or anything like that. He knows the Roman rules very well. But Jesus is saying that his sin is not greater than those Jewish rabbis, the Jewish teachers of the law, the Jewish lawyers who go over the Old Testament and obey its laws and should know better. So this one, I guess what I'm trying to say is that when it comes to sin, they're all the same. One sin to rule them all. They're all sins of the flesh. So I'm sorry, Pope, you're wrong. But the thing here is, and I'm sorry, Pope, because you know way more above everybody else and you should know better, that the sin here is having knowledge, having authority, and still doing those things. So Archbishop Aupetit should know way better for what God is wanting him to do and not to do than when it comes down to, I guess, someone else. And the thing is, it comes back to me, it comes back to you. Yes, we do know more, so we have a greater responsibility. And I guess that's what I want to just say today. We have a greater responsibility to show God's love and to teach and to be God's love. Subscribe. You don't have to subscribe. It's like in the Matrix. Don't have to subscribe. You can have the blue pill. Ignorance is bliss. Or take the red pill and we can build a community together. Catch you in the next one, but go do something awesome for God.